So again, in process 3 of plant wellness, it's going to be looking at things in fairly fine detail to understand where the situations arise that then lead to problems for us. When it comes to early in the life cycle, we've had a look yesterday at this optimization process. So I didn't mention its name was actually called the doctor. This loop we have a look at when things are on the drawing board. We look at the what-if scenarios of risk. I call it the design and operations cost totally optimized risk. So DOCT is the acronym, and we reserve that for the design phase of the life cycle. Literally, we're going to ask, if this bearing and that pump fails, what does it mean for the business? What operational risks are we carrying because of the selection we've made? If that risk is too much and we can't reduce that with our strategies of maintenance and operations, then we're going to go back and look at the design and find a better machine with less chance of failure. So that one there is the early life considerations. Most companies, of course, are already in business. So we're going to have to look at handling situations in companies as they are now. And this is the other leg we come down here, existing plant and operations. What can we do today in this plant that's been already in operation for a number of years to reduce the risk and change the future for this business? This is that box there, analysing risk controls available to us. There's a couple of techniques, one of which is already well established, the FMECA, Failure Mode Effect Criticality Analysis. The criticality we have done in the previous step. So we're not going to go and repeat that, we'll just take the criticality into the FMECA. FMECA is also part of the RCM methodology, so it's well practiced, well understood, very effective process. So I'd be happy that people use FMEA to analyse what controls to apply. The hassle with FMEA, it is not a life cycle approach. It is only what we can do now at this point in time with the current situation. I wanted to have one more process which covered the complete life cycle, because if I can stop the problems at the design phase early in the life of that plant, then I've saved that plant many, many years of problems. And FMEA doesn't do that. It just tells us what we can do with our current constraints. And that cycle, that process of having a look at the whole life cycle opportunities is RGCA, Reliability Growth Cause Analysis. Reliability is manageable. It's a choice we make. So I can grow reliability by the choices I use to minimise the risk that leads to the failure that we don't want to have. So I've got two techniques. FMEA I won't go into because there's plenty of data around. Good process, takes a bit of time. It is a brainstorming based process, which means we've got a risk of missing important issues. So if I'm going to do an FMEA, and I'm also going to have a brainstorming team, plus I'm going to have my list of other physics of failure type causes, so we don't forget the things that could occur, and now the team sees the whole picture as opposed to just what they know is possible. RGCA we'll have a look at a bit later on. The whole point we're trying to achieve is what to do to eliminate defects and prevent failure. What's the proactively thing to do? And we're going to write that up and script this whole story out. So, and the other side is, in the existing plant, what can we do to manage our current risks? So I'm going to have two strategies. One is to prevent defects arising, because they will become breakdowns later on. And in the current equipment I've got, what plans can I apply to minimise existing risk? Out of that will come our quality management system, our accuracy controlled process and activities. Operations will be affected, maintenance will be affected, and of course engineering and selection will be affected. And all of this is going to be based upon the financial benefits. There's no point doing any of this unless there's payback. So we're going to use our total cost impact and justify doing these changes because there's real money there to be made.